One of the biggest questions I get from my clients is, why did I not make money on this project? And most of the time, when I look at the numbers, I can see that the biggest problem is the project running over budget. Ever found yourself scratching your head as your project inches over budget, wondering, where did we go wrong? Well, you're not alone. In this video, we'll explore the various factors contributing to this issue and discuss the potential solutions. So let's get started. The biggest thing that made all kinds of difference for my clients is when we started to track their budget versus actual numbers. How do we know if you're running over budget if you don't track your numbers? QuickBooks Online and project management software has been very helpful tools to navigate all the costs so nothing gets missed. We can say with confidence and detail what parts of the projects went wrong and why. This way, we can develop the strategies on how to fix the mistakes fast and make sure it doesn't happen in the future. So if you feel like you need help setting up your job costing processes, you can schedule a call with me in the link below in the description. One of the primary reasons behind budget overruns in construction projects is the lack of detailed planning and estimation. Before breaking ground, it's super important to thoroughly assess the scope of work, the materials required, the labor costs, and potential risks. Rushed estimates often lead to underestimating the project's costs. Many projects suffer from incomplete or inaccurate initial plans, which can result in unexpected expenses down the line. Plus, failure to account for factors like inflation, market fluctuations, and regulatory changes, it can further add to the budget changes. So, how do we prevent that from happening? Well, first, you need to conduct comprehensive research and site assessments to identify the potential challenges and risks. You got to closely collaborate with all the parties and contractors to develop detailed project plans and specifications. Then go utilize estimated software using the historical cost data to produce accurate estimates. And don't forget to add contingency allowances into the budget to account for any sort of unforeseen expenses. Another common issue behind budget overruns is change orders. During the course of a construction project, changes to the original plan are almost inevitable. Whether it's client requests, design alterations, or unforeseen site conditions, each change can impact the budget and the timeline. While some changes may be necessary to meet the needs and address some unforeseen challenges, the scope creep can significantly inflate costs and disrupt the schedules. Poorly managed change control processes and bad communication between the parties, that often contributes to this issue. So how do we go about it? Well, you got to establish clear change management processes and processes to evaluate and approve the changes. No changes are going to be implemented until you have a signed approval. This is non-negotiable. You got to educate your clients about the potential impact of those changes on project costs and the schedule. Accurate budget allocation is essential for keeping construction projects on track financially. However, many projects falter due to unrealistic cost estimates. Factors such as fluctuating material prices, labor shortages, unexpected delays, they can quickly mess with profit margins. You have to anticipate and address the risks like weather, supply chain disruptions, or subcontractor delays, and inefficient contingency reserve to cover unforeseen expenses further will help with the risks. Without a buffer for contingencies, even minor setbacks, they can snowball into major financial burdens, pushing those projects over budget. So what's the solution? Well, you gotta engage experienced estimators to develop detailed cost estimates based on very realistic assumptions. You got to account for inflation and market fluctuations and regulatory changes when doing those costs. You got to allocate contingency reserve to cover the unforeseen expenses and mitigate the risks. Now, contractual disputes and legal issues can also contribute to budget overruns. Conflicts between project parties, disagreements over contract terms, and disputes about changes or payment issues, they can lead to delays and additional costs. So you have to draft clear contracts that define project scope, deliverables, responsibilities. You got to have open communication channels to address potential conflicts and issues pretty fast. Document all project related communications, all the decisions and agreements, so you don't have that risk of legal challenges. If you want to learn more about contracts in construction industry, you got to watch my recent video when me and Alex discuss what you need to have in your contracts to protect yourself. Plus, there is a lot of helpful information like resources in the description as well. Supply chain disruptions and material shortages, they have emerged as significant challenges for the construction industry, especially in the recent years of COVID. Moreover, reliance of just one inventory source and supplier, it can impact you big time. In such situations, project teams may face inflated material costs, prolonged lead times, limited availability, all of which really messes with schedules and budgets. So how do you protect yourself from that? You gotta diversify the supply chain by sourcing materials from different suppliers so you're not dependent on just one. You gotta maintain some stocks of the materials that are crucial to your operations as well. Gotta monitor market trends to anticipate the potential material shortages or those price fluctuations, and collaborate with suppliers and subcontractors to optimize the processes and ensure timely delivery of materials and equipment. Inefficient project management practices can also contribute to budget overruns in construction projects. Your poor coordination among project teams and bad resource allocation, ineffective communication, all that can result in delays. Moreover, outdated project management tools and processes, they can hinder transparency. So it's hard to have good decision making and identify and address budgetary risks. So you have to invest in tools to streamline communication and collaboration, sharing of the information between teams. You got to establish clear project milestones, performance metrics to track the progress and identify potential issues early. Check project reviews and identify what could be happening to improve the processes. Lastly, unrealistic schedules and deadlines, they can really contribute to budget overruns by putting pressure on project teams and fostering a culture of expediency over quality. Rush timelines may lead to rework and inefficiencies. They drive up costs and jeopardizing project outcome. So you have to develop a realistic project schedules based on those accuracy estimates we talked about, and the resources that you have. Gotta incorporate some buffer times into the schedule. So if there's potential delays or some sort of unforeseen circumstances, you gotta prioritize teamwork and communication and problem solving over meeting the deadlines. You got to regularly monitoring and adjust the schedules to see if everyone is aligned with the project objectives, and everybody is on board. Implementing all these practices over time, you will be amazed how smoothly your projects are running and how much profit they start bringing. I also recommend checking out my latest video on 5 cash flow mistakes. See you on the other side.